Hello, everybody. We're going to have a little impromptu show today, and here we go. WEEDSDAYS. We made it to the Farmers Cup. They gave the OG a booth, and we were with Chris from Justiva. It was great. Hello, everybody. It's Spanibus Week, Mary Jane in Spain, and we're really blessed to have known George and the people that have left the planet. I had somebody leave the planet this week who knew my name and could walk through my door. It's an amazing thing called love and light and life that we live. Give honor to those here and gone. And marijuana is safer than alcohol. So let's end prohibition together, everybody. It's our turn, and free Edwin.
President Trump, please release and pardon Edwin Rubis. He is still in prison for a non-vi cannabis crime.
27 down, pain all around. Mama cried alone when they dragged me out of town. Cold nights in the cell, all I heard was them sounds. Lost years, lost blood, still I never back down. Not a snitch, never will be, that's facts. Buried all my pain, carry scars on my back. Locked down, but my soul's still free. Can't chain a real one, that's the legacy.
Prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
We published in Chronic Magazine this last issue, and that's the OG of the month. And next we have Amy Pova of Can Do Clemency. She's doing a great job to help everybody come home. Welcome guest star Lawrence Cherniak of the Hash Bible, infamous and beautiful. Those are hash balls, everybody. It's all about legacy. Never I call the people in the industry that are activists and tireless OGs. It's a noun, OG. One involved with like-minded others that provide a level of organization and resources that support much larger and more complex transactions than an individual could achieve. We OGs, a real gangster, is someone who stands up for what we believe in, who fights for what they want, who works relentlessly to reach their goals. A real gangster works with a team to create a network. Some call this organized crime. I call it being a real OG. The real crime is sitting down and standing back and not letting others dictate your world. Let's stand up together and let's grid out the world, because the world we see is a world of equality, prosperity, and connectivity. OGs rise up to the occasion of being the change. If I can hear with Weeds Day.
Cannabis is the greatest plant on this earth, and it should be used properly. And don't believe all that negative propaganda that has been forced upon us over the last 100 years or so.
Parade.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
Weekday, everybody. It's Jeff. Good afternoon, everybody. Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap.
Free the prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
So it is Weeds Day, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here, and that's all I know is how to grow, have your plants in the garden, everybody, and take it easy. It's been quite a week, quite a month, quite a year. As I evolve and watch Schedule 3 happen, I listen to the Vivian McPeaks of the world, the Cherniaks of the world, talk about the legacy of the plant that we all love. And I get ready to do my Relief Aid concert. Come to me, everybody. We're looking for you, Mike Tyson. Come on. And I spoke to Joe Chronic this morning. I don't have one of his magazines here. I could go get it, but I'm not leaving without anybody in the room. And so today is Solomon Day, and in case somebody wants to come, you can find us at icanimagine.com. Let's see if I can get that up here. If we go boom, and let's see if I can get an icanimagine.com up there, which is going to be boom. Okay, so icanimagine.com is going to be huge. We'll make it big. And let's get our background color different. Let's see if we can get our text color. How do we get the background color different? So we're gonna keep it the way it is. So there's my I Can Imagine. And then I take it, and because I have the key to making beautiful software, it's episode 316, everybody. So we have dialogue going on for months and months and months about Schedule 3. What do y'all think? What do you think that Schedule 3 is happening? If anybody really understands it, what is the deal? What's happening? What has happened? And when are we going to end prohibition and bring all of our prisoners home? I did a really beautiful cover for Chronic magazine, and let's see if I can get that. Command T there. Let's see if I can get that for you, and we'll walk through it. We'll read a little bit about the OGs that I bring to the planet here. And the OG of the month last month was Vivian McPeak, and that was really a blessing. Let's see if I can move this over. Okay, I cannot, so we'll go Chronic. See. So it's been a great week. Lots to tell, lots to smell. The garden's in. They're painting the bus out, the Abracadabra bus, and I've been to many, many shows and organizing myself to go to California for a wedding, for my niece's wedding, Emma. And so I'm very proud of the young people that are navigating and finding their loves. Let's see if I can find my Chronic magazine poster here. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to put this up and show you all a little bit of Chronic magazine. Okay, so here we go. Let's bring her down and show you the whole freaking Chronic magazine here. So welcome OGs, Jeffrey, to Chronic magazine team. This is our first episode with them and our first magazine article, and we're going to be interviewing all the OGs. That picture of Vivian McPeak, by the way, everybody, is made with roaches, and I don't mean cockroaches. I mean roaches that are from the smoking herb jays, as in joints. So Cliff Maynard, Chronic Art, he makes some credible stuff. So Don't ask me how people know how to do that or if they get high and go in and do that. But we're not allowed on Facebook or in my position to tell you to or not to smoke or imbibe. But the deal is nobody should be in jail for a plant. So Vivian McPeak, Seattle Hemp Fest producer for over 30 years, 420 with a legend, Vivian McPeak, on 30 years of Seattle Hemp Fest. He didn't just show up to the 420 movement, he helped build it. For 30 years, Vivian's been doing this, okay? And so, founder and executive director of Seattle Hemp Fest has been fighting for cannabis freedom since before most people knew what hemp was. So that's pretty important information. So we're going to go here and keep reading. In a second, I'm going to go get my, let's see, view on YouTube. I'm going to get my YouTube link and put it on Weeds Day. I'm going to put it on my Facebook site so people there can see it and Facebook. So it's really beautiful to have technology at our hands and to be able to use it properly. I'm still learning in my early 68 years on the planet. So let's go to StreamYard. So we're in StreamYard and we are going to go to the book, the Facebook, cancel. Okay, so we're going to go boom. And we're going to go, what's new? Pussycat. So, what is your legacy? I just did a legacy episode with Magdalena this morning, and it was beautiful. We talked about the cosmosity and about, her order of what she's doing and how she does her thing. So now we're going to enter the description. Boom. And share with everybody. Share everybody my site here. We have to spell Weeds Day with two threes these days because the robots are finding us on Facebook. It's amazing. It's amazing what they're doing and how they're doing it. So everybody go to my site, icanimagine.com. And you can donate there to us. But in the meantime, I'm just putting our YouTube channel episode that we're recording right now up on my Facebook. And today I want to continue the conversation about Schedule 3. From what I know, it's a blessing, but it's not everything. We still have prisoners in jail. So let's read a little more about Vivian and get to know Vivian a little bit more here. I have Vivian here. The director of Seattle Hemp Fest has been fighting for cannabis freedom since before most people knew what hemp was. We sat down with the main man himself to talk history and hustle and what keeps the fire burning, to talk about the hustle, to talk about the history. You've been doing this for 30 years. Tell us, take us back to where it all started. What was the 420 scene like in 1991? And so Vivian answers, well, there wasn't much of a 420 scene to speak of, not in the way most people think of it, held at the at the Gasworks Park in Seattle protesting the invasion of Iraq. We were camped out in a big rainbow tent, holding tech ins, rallies, feeding people. Timothy Leary came by, Allen Ginsberg dropped in, and I mean, I read this, but I didn't know all this. And it was right there at the seed of the Hemp Fest got planted. My buddy Gary Cook said, "Hey, why don't we do a pot rally?" And so since 1991, we pulled together about 500 people as volunteers at the park, at Volunteer Park, and called it Washington Hemp Expo. Nobody had any idea what they were starting. 500 people, over 300 at its peak, and that's wild. How did HempFest grow into the 420 event of the world? Honestly, passion, volunteers, and the whole lot of late nights. We were never had a big budget. We ran it out of our homes for years with no office, no salary. Nobody got paid. Over 1,000 volunteers made that happen. The 420 community showed up because they knew HempFest was a real deal. We weren't just a party. We were a protestival, half festival, half political protest. 6 stages, hundreds of speakers, and live music. People felt the energy and kept coming back and bringing their friends. So that was pretty cool, everybody. This is Vivian McPeak's energy here. Let's see if we can bring that back. There we go. I'm getting down to where I can read this mofo. Protestival, yes, it means that we were never just about getting high and having a good time, even though, yeah, that's definitely part of the 420 vibe. Ending the drug war, stopping people from going to prison for a plant. Cannabis is medicine. It's a freedom, it's a protestival, and we celebrate and we resist both things at once. What's the most important thing about 420 community that needs to be understood right now? The fight isn't over. Just because a few states legalize it, there are still people locked up right now for cannabis. Big money moved in, and a lot of the compassion moved out. We can't let the culture forget where it came from and where everything when it wasn't legal anywhere. Every time somebody lights up a joint on 420, hope they remember that one day somebody went to jail so they could do that freely. Last question. In 30 years, what keeps Vivian McPeak going? The plant, the people, and the fact that we're not done yet. So that's Jeff Eichen there with our first article in that incredible magazine, which is Chronic Magazine. So this is our page in Chronic Magazine. It's really cool. Let's see if I can get the whole page up here. I probably can. I know how to do that. Boom. So we also are allowed to put in our page here. See if I can get it. If I can grab it. There we go. The International Cannabis Film Festival. That's one of the things that I'm doing, and I'm hoping that goes off really beautiful at other places on the planet. And then the Relief Aid concert, Relief Aid. If Lady Gaga can raise $200 million in 2 nights with Stevie Wonder, they can both come and help us do a protestival and have Relief Aid. They did Fire Aid just like Live Aid. So relief-foundation.net. And we're rebranding ourselves from relieffoundation.org. and relief-foundation.net, and that's my website for relief aid, and where you can see my movie is at lifersthemovie.com with Jeff Bazansky. And it's a blessing to have assisted Jeff coming home. And Jeff's been out for almost 10 years now, so it's a blessing. And so that's the QR code there. Put it on your phone right now. Snap it, snap it, snap it, and come to the party. Hempfest is happening in Oregon at the end of the month. Their branded local name, their local Hempfest. So that's a QR code that'll get you right there. You can photograph it, or you can actually QR code that. How many people like QR codes? I love QR codes. They're so important and special. So I'll put our little article on this side here. And there's Cheech and Tommy. Cheech, Tommy Chong just had his birthday. He's 88. How many people are as strong as Tommy at 88 with good memory? So I met this guy, Matthew, everybody, this week, and I don't have any of the photos processed yet, but he lives here in Gig Harbor, Washington, and he's an incredible soul, older gentleman, and they were testing some marijuana and trying to create a strain. Are you ready for this? Trying to create a strain that was unique to helping memory loss, because they knew that there were some strains that were paranoia strain, munchie strains, not munchie strains, sleep strains, each strain has its unique characteristic. And so the idea was to find a strain to help their brother, who was one of the people that helped to invent this strain, not unlike the Charlotte's Web strain, which is very famous. And I think there was another one called R30 or something, R3. Somebody can help me with that. And that strain was the Charlotte's Web, helped Charlotte Figge, the young lady who's no longer with us, but she did survive and live for like 10 or 12 or 15 years. She had 300 seizures a week as a young girl. Can you imagine that, everybody? 300 seizures. So the deal is that this strain of cannabinoids, which is THC, marijuana, and blah, 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 it was not illegally made and or given to this young gal. It was legally done in Colorado, and the strain became very valuable, very important, very wanted, very sought after, and it helped with epilepsy, not with every patient, because one of my friends here would use it for her epilepsy, and it wasn't positive. It didn't make it worse, but it didn't stop it. But for Charlotte, what it did was she went from 300 seizures a week down to 3, something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was dramatic and it was fantastic. And so this gentleman that I met this week, through another gentleman that knew me and asked me to blah, 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 and blah, 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 all of the characteristics led me, all the synchronicity led me to this gentleman, Matthew, and we were going to get Lawrence on. Let's see if we can get Lawrence on. We were going to get Lawrence on today. Lawrence was on last week, everybody. Let's see if we can get Lawrence. So this strain that they did. They took like 300 strains of marijuana, and y'all know that there is 300 strains, um, at least, at least. But let me see if I can get Lawrence to Lawrence. So Lawrence, let's see if he needs it. So Lawrence came with us because he lives in Oak Harbor, and I went there, and my girlfriend came over because she lives on that side. So I got on the ferry. I walked on the ferry for $2.50. That's because I'm an OG, an old guy, and then I met my ride, Etienne and I and Lawrence, and we went to. Well, Matthew picked us up, and Matthew is the gentleman that created this new strain. They took 300 strains, and they were looking for one that helped their friend gain their memory back. Well, they found it. Then they propagated the seeds. Then they did, I don't know if they crossbred it to make it better or more amazing, but it's been amazing, and they've been sitting on it for maybe 10 or 11 years, and it actually is was sent to Israel to Dr. Machulam's lab, and they found some great properties in there that go to the brain. You know, the cannabinoid system in our body, as I know it, I'm not a scientist or a geneticist, but as I know it, responds to more cannabinoids, and that's why they say some of the babies, release their brain tumors, with it without doing chemo, without, any of that. But if you're using full spectrum cannabinoids, Rick Simpson or whatever, to give you good quality of life, it will not be incompatible or not compatible to white man's medicine, which is chemotherapy. So definitely go to your physician, definitely go to your doctor, definitely figure out if what you're doing is the in the right amount, and if it's okay with the other treatments that you're going through for cancer. But when we were interviewing Matthew, come to find that it's helping with Alzheimer's, and so if that's true, we're going to take it to Seattle, where Lawrence knows a 10,000 square foot operation, and maybe they can quarantine one area off and start to manufacture this and give it to the people. So I'm not sure what it takes to get anything to the people anymore, because of, and so just pray for us that there's a marijuana strain that is good for Alzheimer's. It could be groundbreaking and very, very vitally important. So the idea here is that, what's your legacy? That guy's legacy is holding on to a strain. Well, you better believe it. It's really, really far out that I'm navigating this world and finding people like that. They're coming to me. And so I say that's cosmic order, and I really, really appreciate it and appreciate them. It's been a really long time since marijuana was made illegal and people were being thrown in jail, almost 100 years. It was 1937. So we're about 90 years into this prohibition. And how long did alcohol stay prohibited? Who knows? Let's ask Siri. How long was alcohol in Prohibition?
The Prohibition era in the United States lasted for 13 years, from 1920 to 1933. This answer is from exactlyhowlong.com.
Exactlyhowlong.com. Amazing. So Prohibition era in the United States lasted for 13 years, from 1920 to 1933. So it's really a shame that alcohol got 13 years and kills your liver and people and makes you angry. And marijuana makes you laugh and have the munchies, and other beautiful things. And no one that I know of has died of physical trauma from, physical means from marijuana. I don't think it speeds up your heart or loosens your heart enough to kill you, but alcohol, it's another story. But everything in moderation. This is just my show today and me talking about, the goodness of the plant and how nobody should be in jail for marijuana. And look out for my next episode of OGs in the newest and latest summer edition of Chronic Magazine. So it's really cool to have 316 shows. I guess I'm relentless. I want to do this until all the prisoners come home, maybe after. But looking for sponsors. You're welcome to sponsor us. Go to icanimagine.com. There'll be a sponsor link. My deck will be there for the show. We got the OG Kush package for $100,000. We've got the OG Kush Light package. I don't know exactly what I named them, but each package is tailored for you. And the people that invest in the concert will have say in our musicianship, and they'll be able to come and be the first ones to get front row seats for the next concert and the next one. So we'll go to Wembley, we'll go to JFK Stadium in New York, we'll go to all of them. We'll go to Fenway in Chicago, and we'll go to all of them to produce a series of concerts that are not unlike Woodstock and going to help to provide the funding for lawyers and to get all of our prisoners home and end prohibition. End prohibition in my lifetime. That's my new website T-shirt, in my lifetime. So I'm off to the country fair actually in a couple weeks. I'm going to a wedding for my dear Emma, my niece, and she's been to my house in Port Townsend, and I love that. And so I'll share pictures of my newest bestie that I'm dating, and I don't stay down long, but I do get weary and bleary sometimes. So you beautiful Hampa mamas, I love you dearly. Ganja Chica, where are you? And so it's really fun dancing with my new partner. And so I love it. I love dancing and having a partner to dance with. So tell me a little bit about what your legacy is. Come on my legacy show. You can contact me at I Can Imagine. I'll put a question and answer form up there today. And that's all I know. I'm having fun making art and get ready to produce my cannabis art show and my cannabis art gallery online. I'm looking for hemp paper, and what more can we expect in life than to stop dirty cotton which is sprayed with glyphosate, and the people that are picking it are getting sick and dying. So, what is the responsible golden rule of this planet? That's to learn and to know that even myself, I live several miles from a lot of, at Indian Island on Father's Day, my buddy goes every year and gets arrested. Indian Island is where they have stockpiles of weapons, nuclear weapons. And so maybe I'm first strike and that's a good way to go. But it's not unacceptable to protest and to get up and stand up for your rights. We have on July 4th, the marijuana activist people that want to end prohibition and bring the prisoners home, they're all going to meet in Washington, D.C. I won't be able to go because I can't go everywhere. I'll be headed down to the Oregon Country Fair. And I'm going to be going with the artist, the Spoon Man, this year. So it'll be great conversation. And the price of gas is going to make our trip more expensive. So you can support us at icanimagine.com. And let me see if I can pull up a little bit of the Canna news here. See what the Canna news has. Let's see what the Canna news has today. So let's go to a marijuana moment and see what they're focused on today. So the headline on Marijuana Moment, which is brought to you by Fun Canna, I guess. Pennsylvania Senate rejects bill to regulate marijuana and restrict hemp THC product, but it may be revived. The Pennsylvania Senate has rejected a bill to create a new cannabis control board, the CCB, to oversee the state's medical. So is that what the bullshit or what? It's just like, why are we stuck in this loop? People being afraid of just wiping it out and across the board making it legal. What is the deal? So let's see here. Science and Health, 5 hours ago on Marijuana Moment. Marijuana extracts meaningful, improve cancer patients' symptoms such as sleep, trouble, and anxiety, study shows. Federal employees could get medical marijuana covered by workers' comp under bill advancing in Congress. That's good news. VA documents reveal rules for medical cannabis conversations between vets and governments. Oh, nice. And it says here, anti-marijuana ballot campaigns in Maine and Massachusetts accused of fraudulent and misleading petitioning tactics. Bummer. So let's see what else we got on the marijuana outlook here. California marijuana regulators unveil a new AI tool to prevent product packaging that may appeal to kids. Why? They're already working on getting rid of Delta 9 and Delta 8, which is hemp turned into something that gets you high and sold at 7-Eleven. So they're working on that. So there's another article here that says hemp THC companies are suing Ohio officials to block a new product restrictions from being enforced. The moment federally legal hemp crosses Ohio's border, it becomes marijuana for the purpose of Ohio law by Philip Smith. It's freaking hemp and it's industrial and it's beautiful and it makes food. I can't believe they're doing that. 2 in 3 Americans, another article here, who use marijuana say it helps them sleep better, surveys show. That's beautiful. Hemp-based plastic shows promise as environmentally friendly alternative to traditional packaging. CBD is widely used for personal wellness, if not so distant future. It can be used for environmental wellness by Philip somebody. Marijuana components have consistent anti-tumor effects in glioblastoma, and I'm trying to read that word, and other cancers. Scientific reviews show components of marijuana show consistent and let's see if I can get rid of this. Consistent and statistically significant anti-tumor effects in certain types of cancer, including glioblastoma and breast cancer. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, that's cool. State marijuana's officials educate World Cup fans about how to celebrate legally and responsibly. Top marijuana officials in multiple states are taking 2 steps to make sure visitors are in town to watch. What do you mean? If you're high or stoned, you're going to be stuck on the TV and you never make your air flight. So WNBA removes marijuana from the banned substance list and sets rules for players' endorsements of hemp CBD products. The WNBA has officially removed marijuana from its prohibited substances list, while also laying out rules for how players can. Let's read that article for you. I'm going to get it. Okay. So, at the same time, however, the Women's Basketball League is also adding several psychedelics to the list of banned drugs. As part of the negotiation between Women's Basketball Players Association and WNBA earlier this year, the league offered to remove cannabis from its drug testing protocol, now under the terms of long-term version from the long form version of a new collective bargaining agreement signed by representatives of both sides. Marijuana no longer appears to be prohibited substance, whereas under the prior CBA, it was included under drug abuse. Prior and WNBA policy treated cannabis significantly more restrictively compared to the NBA, as well as multiple other professionals sports. Leagues beyond basketball have also adopted reforms amid the state legalization movement. First-time offenses generally resulted in treatment referrals, but repeated violations could lead to fines and suspensions. Under the new rules, players could still be subject to testing for cannabis if they enter the league's drugs abuse program, if they are found to be under the influence while engaged in activities. So I guess you shouldn't smoke before you play. Everybody, just do it I guess you're supposed to, they're saying to do it in the privacy of your home. If they have a dependency or other related issues involving the use of marijuana, Those who are referred to a marijuana treatment program do not comply with the rules, subject to a fine of $300 per day, and any player who exhibits a pattern of behavior that demonstrates a mindful disregard for her treatment responsibilities or tests positive for marijuana would face fines of up to $3,000 or suspension for 3 or more games. Players could be subject to a reasonable cause drug testing administration proceedings if they are convicted of a felony involving the distribution of or marijuana. I guess involving the distribution of marijuana. At the same time, the WNBA and the Players Union are loosening up on marijuana. However, it is also added suspected entries for psychedelics and DMT, ibogaine, psilocybin, and psilocybin to the prohibited substance list for the first time. Also prohibited under the new policy are synthetic cannabinoids, Delta 8, and the byproducts. Separately, CBA addresses players' investment and promotion of the companies that sell marijuana and hemp-derived CBD products. It is said that players can hold a direct or indirect ownership interest in marijuana companies as long as the interest is passive, meaning no management, governance, or voting, or executive roles, or other operational rights or roles that have at least 50% in the stakes. There is also a requirement for the company to operate in compliance with all applicable laws and regulation, and the document significantly notes that players may not hold any ownership or interest in a business that produces or sells any products containing the evil weed. Other Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 substances under the Controlled Substance Act. The evil weed, everybody. While marijuana has been classified under Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substance Act since 1970, the Trump administration in April announced that it was moving it to Schedule 3, where the WNBA prohibition will presumably no longer apply. Broader reclassification of marijuana to Schedule 3 will be the topic of a hearing and scheduled to be later this month. WNBA rules for CBD and other companies are looser than those for marijuana business, and they don't require passive interest of less than 50% ownership. The document also says that players can actively promote and endorse and sell CBD products if the products are produced by a marijuana company. However, players will first need to receive permission from the league and the union. Well, whatever, Jeff Eikens says. So on May 22nd, it was finalized. The event players engage in prohibited investment promotions or endorsements without limiting the other WNBA rights, remedies, and players shall be required to promptly dispose of her ownership interest. The league gave some indication about its willingness to accept the changing tides around cannabis in 2024. The WNBA New York Liberty entered into a partnership with a CBD beverage company. Whoa, does that mean they sell it at the arena? Meanwhile, Brittany Griner, a WNBA player who was previously incarcerated in Russia over possession of marijuana, pulled out of an appearance at a cannabis event last year and discovering that she felt threatening messages in her hotel room. Bullshit. How do other sports leagues navigate marijuana policy for players? NBA, for its part, removed marijuana from the banned substance in 2023. It also freed them up to invest and promote in cannabis companies. The NFL reached an agreement in 2024 to further reform marijuana policies, blah, blah, blah. The NFL ended the practice of suspending players over cannabis. Yay! And the National College Athletic Association voted to remove marijuana from its banned substance for Division I players. The reform builds a 2022 change that increases all allowable THC thresholds for college athletes. In 2024, blah, 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 blah. So, in other words, that's pretty good news, everybody. This marijuana moment was made possible with support from readers. If you rely on our cannabis advocacy journals, stay informed. Please consider a monthly Patreon pledge. So that is from the marijuana moment, everybody. And I'll come back to my StreamYard here. It's Jeff Eichen here with StreamYard. We got just a few more minutes here. I want to say thank you to Vivian McPeak. We're going to have the OG of the month, which is going to be Amy Pova. Amy Pova is going to be from the Can Do Clemency. She was incarcerated herself for several years, and I just spoke to her this week. She was very thankful and appreciative for all the activism we're all doing. She's working directly with the White House right now and has some good news for us. Maybe even maybe I'll find out if she'll share that news with us in the article, and we can get a scoop, a scoop like ice cream, so that's pretty cool. So I really appreciate you all, everybody, and for coming on my show today. All you guests that popped in, and but we have Tommy and Cheech there. They're supposed to be coming to the Port Townsend Film Festival, but I haven't heard back from Daniela yet. So there they are with me. Yes, Sir Bob. And so happy birthday, Tommy and Cheech. You're looking good. Cheech Marin and his Latino Cholo Art Museum in Riverside. Do the best you can, everybody. Take care of your children, and let's see what my text was. 8:30 ferry. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, it's just that important. In my lifetime, I want to end prohibition and have the concerts. So come to me if you're a promoter of music or know how to do big concerts. That'd be freaking cool to work with y'all and to make the concert happen. This is Jeff Eichen with Weeds Day, and why don't we go out with a little Weeds Day here? Okay, here we go. We made it to the Farmers Cup. They gave the OG a booth, and we were with Chris from Justiva. It was great. Hello, everybody. It's Spanibus Week. Mary Jane in Spain, and we're really blessed to have known George and the people that have left the planet. I had somebody leave the planet this week who knew my name and could walk through my door. It's an amazing thing called love and light and life that we live. Give honor to those here and gone. And marijuana is safer than alcohol. So let's end prohibition together, everybody. It's our turn, and free Edwin.
President Trump, please release and pardon Edwin Rubis. He is still in prison for a non-vi cannabis crime.
27 down, pain all around. Mama cried alone when they dragged me out of town. Cold nights in the cell, all I heard was them sounds. Lost years, lost blood, still I never back down. Not a snitch, never will be, that's facts. Buried all my pain, carry scars on my back. Locked down, but my soul's still free. Can't chain a real one, that's the legacy.
Prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
We published in Chronic Magazine this last issue, and that's the OG of the month. And next we have Amy Pova of Can Do Clemency. She's doing a great job to help everybody come home. Welcome guest star Lawrence Cherniak of the Hash Bible, infamous and beautiful. Is all about legacy. I call the people in the industry that are activists and tireless OGs. It's a noun, OG. One involved with like-minded others that provide a level of organization and resources that support much larger and more complex transactions than an individual could achieve. We OGs, a real gangster, is someone who stands up for what we believe in, who fights for what they want, who works relentlessly to reach their goals. A real gangster works with a team to create a network. Some call this organized crime. I call it being a real OG. The real crime is sitting down and standing back and not letting others dictate your world. Let's stand up together and let's grid out the world, because the world we see is a world of equality, prosperity, and connectivity. OGs rise up to the occasion of being the change. If I can hear with WEEDSDAYS.
Cannabis is the greatest plant on this earth, and it should be used properly. And don't believe all that negative propaganda that has been forced upon us over the last 100 years or so.
Parade.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is this thing on? Tap, tap, whoa. I'm back, everybody.
Free the prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, free yourself.
So I came back just in time. It's been a great show. I love doing shows by myself. I get to just roll on and not be interrupted. So it's episode 316. Jeff Eichen here. Wish I was going to Mary Jane, everybody in Europe, end prohibition. It's up to you to be responsible with their children, with everybody, and make your legacy happen. And help me with the concert, everybody. Vivian will. And next, OG is going to be Amy Pova. So Amy Pova, Hemp Hooray, everybody. And what does Mickey say? Mickey always says, it's 420. So Hemp Hooray, Weeds Day. Love you, everybody. It's been a great show. Thanks.